Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to my garage. I just want to say thanks to everyone who's been helping and commenting and subscribing to my channel recently. Really appreciate that. I'm going to spend this week feeling a little bit better, so that's a positive. Just trying to clean up the bike. So I'm going to spend some time trying to polish up the engine, making the first steps to sorting out the paint on the tank, and really just spending some time doing nothing but trying to clean her up. So let me get on. So this is my starting point for the day. I'm giving up on this paintwork. It continues to just crack no matter what I do. So I'm going to strip that off and get it ready for a future respray. The engine, I'm going to try and polish this up, emulating some of the techniques I've seen Nat Knacker's Yard use. So I've bought a few things. Let's see how we get on with that. Recently joined the Motorcycle Rescuers Facebook group. Seems a really good bunch of guys, some of which have reached out to me. Project Clark 123 is a channel that seems to be trying to do something similar, you know, restoring old bikes. If you're interested in this, you may be interested in that. So let me get started, see what I can do. Right, so before I begin, first things first, remove the fuel from the tank. Don't forget to drain that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to try and just rub this back with an angle grinder, just with an abrasive pad on it. So quite aggressive, but I don't care. I just want to get back to metal. But what I did learn from last time is don't do it in the garage where you're going to respray it, because it causes a lot of dust. So I'm going to be doing it here, outside, on a box, on the driveway. So with less dust in the environment I'm spraying in. That was the first lesson I learned. Okay, let's do that. So look, I'm starting to strip this back to paint. This was painted months ago, and the lacquer, you can see this, it's coming off like candy floss. So that suggests to me that's still not fully dry. So that was never going to harden and stay as I expected it if the lacquer is still wet underneath this months later. Okay, no wonder it was cracking. Right, let's carry on. Alright, well, I've lost patience trying to remove it with pads and discs. Everything I try just gums up almost immediately, as if this paint is just still gummy and wet. So I've gone for paint stripper instead now. I've taken all the top off of it, I've taken all the shine out of it, so I'll put paint stripper on what's left, and that can just sit there and work itself away whilst I carry on and start trying to polish the engine. So we'll come back to that later. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get some form of shine on this engine. So got a variety of things. I've got some different grades of steel wool, which I thought I might try and use to see if I can rub that back. I've got some polishing pads. I've got some green Scotch block that apparently with some WD-40 might help. But I'm going to go straight in and keep those as backups. I'm going to go in initially with some of this Mother's mag aluminium polish, combined with some of the pads that I've bought to go on the angle grinder. So let's try that, give that a quick go, see what that does. Don't know, I'm quite optimistic about this. It seems to work for others, so let's try, and depending on the success of that, I might try some of the others. So let's get started with that then. So let's begin. Just putting some of this around the area I'm going to try initially. Put it on the face. I know I've got a paint in here that I don't necessarily want to remove. I figured if I keep the angle grinder relatively flat, it shouldn't get into that space anyway. So in theory, you won't just take all that paint off. Just a relatively good coating. I figured it all will get moved around by the angle grinder itself anyway. Right. Maybe too much, maybe not enough. Honestly, I don't know. But let's give that a go. See what this does. Oh, that was literally just a few minutes, so it's just the first pass, but there is a bit of a shine on that. Not ready, not finished, but an improvement. Right, good. I won't make you watch it all, I'll carry on now. So that's the first pass, and you can see me and my hand in, so that's definitely better. That's improved a little, so that is working. It's still not very quick. I mean, that's taken me 20 minutes thereabouts, but I think I'm going to have another go at that now and see if the second pass cleans that up any more, because there's definite clear improvement. Let's have another go. That's the second pass of polish, and it's pretty damn shiny. I mean, I can see my hand clearly in the reflection, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Now, there's some areas it didn't do as well. So for instance here, I mean, it cleaned it up but it didn't shine it up, so I think there's more abrasive required. So I'm going to try different things, maybe some steel wool, and see if I can actually just maybe take the surface off of that first and then shine it again. So different technique on that bit, I think. Let's see if we can improve that. So for this bit here, I'm going to try some steel wool and some WD-40. The suggestion was that can do a pretty damn good job as well. This may take some time. So far it appears to be doing absolutely nothing. Let's give that 10 minutes effort, see if we can see any improvement. Okay, so it's about 10 minutes later. I've got a sore arm, but I don't think I've got any visible improvement on that section there. So that is clearly shiny, that is clearly isn't. So what am I going to try next? Maybe next some of these polishing pads, see whether these actually clean it up. Okay. So I've had about 20 minutes with this polishing pad, and it seems to have made it all like a uniform, dull, sort of brushed steel type look. So I think it's smoother but dull, and I've done that over all of it again now. So I've even done the face that was shiny, and it's now more uniform. So I'm thinking if that's done a job of taking some of the rougher imperfections out of the surface, I'm going to try the Mother's Mag polish on that again and see what happens this time. Maybe that should have been done first. So okay, let's go back to the polish and see what it does. So welcome to my shiny engine. That's pretty happy with that. Come around here, it's definitely improved. There's definitely reflection on that now. It's not the same as this side exactly. I don't think I need it to be. It's shiny, it's clean, it's not mirrored like, but all in all, that no longer looks neglected. Okay. What next? More cleaning. Welcome to the unsexy side. That has no shine on it whatsoever. So I'm going to start on this side, but learning from what I've just done and using common sense, which I didn't do the first time, I'm going to start with the most abrasive, which is possibly even some wet and dry, then moving on to the sanding block, then I'm going to go to the polishing. So yeah, let me see what I can achieve with that, because at the moment it's nothing shiny whatsoever, certainly no reflection, very dull, and the exhausts are pretty dirty as well. So let's see if I can just tidy this side up a little. So I'm going to start with some 400. It's just, I don't really know, but a quick light sanding, it's clearly scratching the surface. I think it's a positive thing at this stage. So let's just try giving it all a light rubbing over with this. And then we'll move up. Okay, I won't make you watch it. So that's after going over with the 400 grade, and you can see it's sort of uniformly scratched all over now, but actually you've already improved, but obviously scratched. So let's go up, probably an 800, give it another go. Okay, so that's after an 800 grit, and Yeah, okay. So it's sort of uniformly dull, I would say. Although already probably looks cleaner than it did before. So let's now go up to the polishing block and try that. That's looking cleaner. No polish on that yet. That's just finally cleaning it up with one of these blocks on these sanding polishing pads. And that, I mean, it's almost got the beginnings of a shine. So now I think I'm going to use the Mothers. Use some of that on it now. See how that comes out. So I've given the engine a first shine and it is beginning to reflect. So that's the first pass over with a polish, and it looks a damn sight better than it did before, that's for sure. Good. And road exhaust doesn't look very bad either. Okay, I think I'll give that another pass and see how that comes up. But that now, to me, doesn't look too bad. Cool. There we go. And that is after a second polish. I'm not unhappy with that at all. I could probably sit out here and polish this for days, but I haven't got days. In fact, I've been out here all day doing it. But for something which looked unloved, it now looks clean. So that worked. Certainly the Mother's mag and the angle grinder wall pad helped tremendously. Now let's see if we can't get her back together and have a look at the final result. So a paint stripper has left this thick sticky residue on the tank. It tells me to use wire wool and water. I'm going to try that. It's cleaning off. Good. So here's the end of the day walk around. There's the tank, all back to bare metal. So giving up on the old paint, ready to start that again. Hopefully get a result this time which doesn't crack all the bloody time. Engine, as you've seen this side, looking reasonably shiny. And round the other side, all shiny as well. So all in all, not a bad day's work. I'm pretty happy with that. Cheers Nat for the recommendations. Cheers everyone for your support.